If you are interested in shaping reality through the use of magic, you will want to learn about these weird and witchy symbols called sigils. My name is Anna Bellissima. I'm an extremely powerful magician, as of course are you, and I'm going to talk you through the exact steps to make and use these shapes in your magic. But first, I want you to really understand that magic is not a belief system. It is a technology. It evolves through hypothesis, experiment, and meticulous note-taking. So you do not need to believe in magic in order to try this out. You just need to be able to suspend your disbelief for long enough to earnestly perform your magic, and then stay open and curious about whatever happens next. Magic always yields results, and they are always unexpected. So, these shapes are called sigils, and each one represents a phrase that affirms the reality that you are creating with your magic. They are symbols that are filled with the energy of our desire, and we fill them with that energy through our attention, intention, and psychic energy. Personally, I have used sigils to entirely reinvent myself, to unlock ridiculous levels of self-expression, to find myself deeply embedded in a wonderfully supported community, to build a business I love, to find marketing easy and fun, to manifest income goals, and an actual pony. There is really no limit to what you can create. And this is the 4-step process of creation, which I will talk you through in more detail. Define your desire, number 1. Number 2, create the sigil. Number 3, charge the sigil. And finally, become unattached to the outcome of your magic. There is also a very cool hack which I'm going to talk to you about, which will boost the power of all your sigils. And I will come to that right after I've made a sigil with you. There are a few different methods of sigil creation, and you can even find websites that will automatically generate sigils for you. But this is the method I learned and the one I always use. Hit pause now while you grab a pencil and paper and write down your desire across the top of the page. Make sure it is phrased in the positive, no negative language, and that there is a mundane means to manifestation. So if you're after a new job, make sure that you are actually applying for jobs. Refine and rephrase your affirmation as many times as you need to. Listen to yourself say it out loud, and then when you're happy with it, write it out in capital letters. And I am working with every day is a good hair day. So the first thing you need to do is cross out all the vowels. People always ask about the letter Y, I say leave it in. People always ask about numbers and currency symbols, and I would also leave those in too. But I do caution against money magic as your very first spell. Money magic tends to be done with a lot of watching and waiting energy, which tends to just lead to more watching and waiting. So I'm going to cross out all of the vowels in my phrase. And here is what I'm left with. Next, we're going to cross out all duplicate consonants. So the letters that you will have left, you just want one representative of each letter remaining. So I have one V, one R, one Y, D, S, G, H. And these, the consonants I am left with are V, R, Y, D, G, H. The next thing we're going to do is sort of squish the elements of these letters together to create a nice, weird looking symbol. You might need to cross out your workings and start again. You can take as long as you wish over this process. The only outcome is to be left with a symbol that might look creepy if you found it scratched on the wall of an abandoned building. So I'm going to make mine now. V, R, Y. I suggest you take much longer, but this is the sigil that I have created from my consonants. Once you're happy with your sigil, draw it in pen on some good paper and cut it out so you have a nice little talisman like these ones that can live on your altar. Now, The symbol you've just made is not up to full power yet. It needs to be charged. But before I get to that part, I'm going to give you the hack I mentioned that makes this process way more powerful. And that is to create several sigils which all support one central desire. I read about this on Gordon White's blog, Rune Soup. It works really well. And he explained the concept as being like a shoal of fish. So when one moves, the whole shoal moves. If, for example, you wanted to meet a new romantic partner, excuse me, you could make a sigil for meeting funny and creative people, that every day is a good hair day, that I feel confident and attractive, and so on. So by all means, save this video, make your whole shoal of sigils, and then come back here to learn how to put them to work. Once you have made your shoal of sigils, leave them on an altar until such time as you are ready to charge them. Now, the idea is to gaze upon the sigils when your mind is empty of all other thoughts, which anyone who has tried to meditate will tell you is far easier said than done. One option for creating an empty mind is fear. So you could take your sigils on a roller coaster or to watch a horror movie. Physical exhaustion is another thing that can cause an empty mind. Sexual climax is a very popular way of charging your sigils. Or you can use a trick of magical consciousness, where you will create a magical atmosphere with candles, incense, meditation, and so on, and then use the power of your imagination to kind of trick yourself into the deep belief that you are dreaming, that you are the dreamer of the dream, and you are at a slight advantage here if you've tried psychedelic drugs or experienced episodes of mania, but this is not beyond anybody with an imagination. Just work at it until you feel an energetic shift, a sense of high strangeness, and then stare at your sigils one by one in the candlelight until they seem to quiver and almost take on their own consciousness. And you will have the thought, oh shit, I've really done it. I've created an inevitable reality. I have made magic. Then leave your sigils on your altar or pin them somewhere where you will glance at them each day, and then ground yourself back to reality with a barefoot walk, hugging a tree, drinking some water, eating something. And remember to release your sigils with deep gratitude and set them on fire on a full moon when you notice that they are doing their work and the magic is incoming. As with all topics of magic, there is much nuance and depth and much to discuss around sigils, but I hope you have found this very brief introduction helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and do explore my channel for related topics like one on creating an altar for your sigils to sit on. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you next time.